Chapter 1. Introduction. Learning to Add Value. I graduated law school in 1974 and immediately started buying real estate, a two-family house in Los Angeles. I had no money, and as necessity is the mother of invention, I had to be very inventive. In the next 10 years, I bought and sold 50 or so investment properties. I also became an active real estate attorney and real estate broker. My assumption was that if real estate was involved, I should be able to figure out how to make money, buying, selling, brokering, or lawyering it. I soon began to think of myself as a real estate entrepreneur, someone who took risks in an effort to turn time, information, and some capital into much, much more capital. In 1985, I wrote a book titled The Real Estate Game and How to Win It. That book advocated real estate as an investment, but was limited to what I had learned up to that point in my life. In the 20 years since writing The Real Estate Game, I have continued to buy and sell, only the deals got bigger and bigger, and I learned a lot about maximizing one's success with real estate entrepreneuring. One of the points of the real estate game was that you could use real estate to obtain wealth simply by buying and holding, and that still is true. Notwithstanding a relatively low rate of inflation over the last 5 years, real estate appreciation has continued to clip along at double-digit numbers. Over the last 20 years, I have observed that whereas buying and holding is certainly a valid, fairly safe strategy for making money with real estate, there are other, and I dare say better, ways for doing that. These are the strategies employed by the super successful real estate players. These are techniques used by entrepreneurs who are not satisfied with a reasonable return on their investment. The Dow Jones may go up in a year by 10%, and equity investors are generally pleased with that. On the other hand, the real estate entrepreneurs I know would be quite disappointed with a 10% return on their equity. These people are looking for multiples many, many times a 10% return. Now, before we start down our path of learning, let me make one important point. Real estate, as with most entrepreneurial endeavors, has a risk-reward quotient. If you are looking for risk-free ways to make a ton of money in real estate, toss this book. I have never seen such things. Certainly risk can be quantified and minimized, but life in the real estate world is pretty simple. The greater the risk, the greater the potential reward. In that regard, I am not a fan of the real estate promoters who write books about making money in real estate with no or little cash invested, or who hold seminars claiming to make their attendees instant millionaires. Sorry guys, I just don't buy it. Real estate investing is not some magic potion to riches. Yes, it's a means for making a lot of money, but it's no risk-free, lazy man's way to wealth. It's hard work, and there is definitely risk involved. But with information, diligence, determination, and calculated risk, there is plenty of opportunity to make a lot of money. One last disclaimer. I tell many stories in the pages to follow. All of them are actual deals that I was involved with, sometimes with names or numbers changed a little bit so as not to offend anyone, or are compilations of several similar deals in which I participated. Some of these deals make me look very smart. My intent is not chest-pounding. The point of these stories is to show you what can be done if you are a knowledgeable real estate entrepreneur. But as you will discover, I have also made my share of mistakes. And frankly, one of the reasons for writing this book 20 years after my last venture into publishing is that I wish I'd had a roadmap to follow that would have helped me avoid some of the real stupid stuff I have done. I hope that this book can be that kind of roadmap for you. So, you in? Okay, then let's get going. The general premise. My belief is that in order to maximize your success in real estate investing, you need to add value to either the process by which you acquire property or the property itself, or both. The techniques that I write about in ensuing chapters are all about adding value. In other words, finding some way to tip a deal in your favor. There are techniques for creative acquisition, for finding hidden wealth in a property, for using other people's money to generate disproportionate returns, for using information to create outsized commissions, and so on. Hopefully, you noticed the quotation at the beginning of this book. Knowledge is power. I am a great believer in that statement. With knowledge, you have the power to catapult your existing net worth to a level you may have only dreamed about. My goal is to impart some of that knowledge to you, to get you familiar with the types of techniques that I have seen work time and again, to give you a good foundation in the basics of real estate investing so you can exercise your own creative muscles to find new, exciting,